Alright, so I woke up feeling bad for calling those of you that think that sexual attitudes and world peace are disconnected, for calling you guys idiots. I'll try to explain, be a little nicer, and be a little bit more, I don't know, thorough. Because to me, at this point in my study, it's obvious. But I remember a time when it wasn't obvious, so here we go, one more time. Absolute sex and world peace, number 2. Okay, so it all goes to why people handle conflict the way that they handle conflict. And let's break it down into the favorable and unfavorable modes that people get into in dealing with conflict. Okay, there is the type that can be optimistic and find a reason to not punish the other side, but give them the benefit of the doubt and patiently wait for the other person to figure things out and change their adverse behavior, or the behavior that has produced adverse results for me. Okay, so if I am able to do that, and I don't rush the conflict, there are chances for the other person to reverse course, awaken in their ability to understand your side, and augment their behavior. But the more short-tempered I am, the less chance there is that the two sides can meet in a favorable way that benefits both sides, if there is some sort of moment of conflict. Okay, so attitude is very important in those situations. Attitude is very important. Attitude can turn something in a split second into an explosion, and attitude can take the same situation and turn it into a wonderful learning experience where our friendship, our companionship is proven to each other, especially through patience. I mean, the fact that we give each other patience in difficult times is not nothing. It's one of the ways that friendship and companionship and loyalty and commitment is proven. Okay, the more patient I am, and the more you can see that I'm tested and patient, the more you realize that there's some quality to my investment in you. There's some meaning for me in the time that I invest in you. And if there's some meaning for me, perhaps you might think, oh, this person is good for me. Okay? And if this person is good for me, I want to be careful in return with this person. Okay, that is conflict on a microscopic or microcosmic scale. All conflict is governed by attitude. That's what I'm saying, okay? And it's no different on the macrocosmic scale. You could have nations that are patient with one another. Spy balloon, anyone? You can have nations run out of patience with one another. So the macrocosm functions just like the microcosm. So if attitude is a large part in how we deal with moments where we feel slighted, okay, then surely you can see how that would affect world peace and or world conflict, hellish situations, hell on earth, or heaven on earth, or paradise, or just a really cool place. Because if you can't understand what it takes to make brotherly harmony, you can't understand what it takes to make world peace. Everything you need to learn about world peace really is learned in the family. That's also something that Reverend Moon drove over and 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 over again. You know, one of the things that the forms of glue in a brotherly sisterly relationship is the willingness to live for the sake of the other. So you live for the sake of the other, and this is my second point, if you feel that you're okay. When David said, "My cup runneth over," he was saying that God is so much filling his life, is so much taking care of him, that David can't even hold the love, right? He doesn't even know what to do with it. It's already filled in any doubt, Okay, so there's no emptiness. There's no amount of empty in David because God has poured so much into David. That's what my cup runneth over means. So when you feel, before you even get to your friends, before a conflict even pops off, if your basic stance about the way you take steps through this world is based on, I am loved, my cup runneth over, I am not in a state of want, then when you meet challenges and when you meet people, you are more on the side of giving or considering giving. Now, I don't always give, even after I've considered it, and even though I have the capacity to give, because sometimes it's not good to give, and that's for another talk, but at least the capacity to give, to choose to give is not lost on you if emotionally you're not in need. This is true on the microcosmic scale and the macrocosmic scale. Okay? So whether or not we have people walking around feeling loved. The Marxists never liked people walking around feeling loved. So they called religion, which helped people be optimistic and feel loved, they called religion an opiate. Okay, it's sort of like a drug. It's satisfying your emotional need without actually changing your situation materially. And they thought that that was just absurd. So it's an opiate, right? Okay, so Marxists, by stating that, they have use for conflict, they want conflict, and by wanting conflict, they do not want people to find ways to feel filled or loved, to feel emotionally satisfied, because they cannot use or agitate those people if those people are emotionally satisfied. If those people do not have a bone to pick with the ruling class, how can you have your glorious revolution? And thus, Marxists want you not to be satisfied. Then they say the most dissatisfied agitators in the revolution are the ones that are eliminated, because they don't want those dissatisfied people to overthrow the new regime that is formed after the revolution. Okay, so they don't really care about, you satisfying your anger. They care about weaponizing your anger. Okay, enough about Marxists. So religion, in a quest to ensure that you are happy, many of them told you not to screw up your family, told you not to cheat on your spouse, okay, told you how to use your sexual organ, okay, so that you remain clean. But at this point in history, clean, no, it's clean in what way? Clean in what way? Clean in that you don't upset your spouse, clean in that you don't show lack of control where it comes to sex. No, the most important form of cleanliness regarding sexual morality is that you give a clear and good meaning to the life of your children. A clear and good meaning. And that means the origin of their very lives has to be meaningful. That's why you do not cheat on the mother of your children, because she is the origin of your children's life. She has to be treated like the most valuable thing in your life, so that your children understand that they come from a valuable place. You do not cheat on the father of your children, because the seed and sperm that you take care of for 9 months and then you feed those children, that is the way you honor the man as a king, by taking care of his seed and taking care of his children. When you cheat on that man, psychologically the children wonder or worry about their very origin, okay? This destabilizes them psychologically. Okay, and yeah, there are outliers, there are anomalies and I don't want to hear it, because I've been teaching abstinence education and character education for 2 decades, and okay, you're gonna have to get over it. Yeah, it's a numbers game, and I'm not gonna explain that. I'll do that in some other. You can comment if you really want me to hash that argument out. Okay, I know there are outliers, but it's not the norm. The norm is that when kids see their parents not work out, their relationship doesn't work out, the kids wonder about the meaning, its meaning on them. Like, the kid is the union. The kid is an offshoot of the union of that man and that woman. If that union doesn't matter anymore, the universe says to the kid, oh, maybe you don't matter anymore. Some part, and is the universe right or wrong in giving the kids this feeling? You know, because psychologists have said the kids will bounce back better from the death of a parent than the breakup of their parents. Kids will be more depressed and more psychologically disturbed by the breakup of their parents. So what I'm saying is that if you want to give or start your child off, a lot of religions told you to keep yourself clean. But what you're really keeping clean is the basis of your child's psychology. Okay? It is the basis of their existence. You are supposed to respect sex. You are not supposed to be deterred from respecting sex by being sort of like an addict where it comes to sexual pleasures and orgasms and fetishes. Okay? Because more important than your fetishes and your orgasm, I mean, can't you have enough pity for the future of mankind, your own blood lineage, that you would control your sexual appetites? You could be into feet. You could be into, what are some other fetishes? You could be into chains. You could buy straps and strap your blessed spouse up to the bed and do fun and exciting, all kinds of stuff. But don't cheat on that person before you get married to that person, and don't cheat on that person after you get married to that person. Don't cheat on that person. Have one love, one life, one man, one wife. It is your minimum responsibility for the children that don't even exist yet. This has a bearing on their basic psychology of whether or not they're filled from the beginning or live a life fighting to find a way to cure an emptiness. Do you understand? Putting people out on the streets who are fighting to find a way to cure an emptiness makes them more apt to step on other people, view other people as competition, and, just increase the level of intolerance that they're walking around with for their fellow man or so-called competitors. Okay, you want your kid to be like, when somebody fights to take their stuff, you want them to be like, who was it? I believe it was Isaac in the Bible. He dug a well. He had the wherewithal to dig a well through the clay of the Middle East. And who knows, the kind of tools they had, but he dug a well. And the men of the valley came and said, we've been in this valley since whenever, much longer than you. That well, this valley is ours, that well is ours. So you know what Isaac does? Because God is with him, because he feels filled. His attitude, look at his attitude. He didn't slaughter those men of that valley. He picked up his things and he moved on to another valley. And the same thing happened in that valley when he dug a well. The men contested with the ownership. So in like manner, he picks up stuff and he moves on to another valley. He digs a third well because he has the ability to dig a well. One thing about those two groups of men who fought him or argued over the previous two wells, they didn't have the ability to dig a well. Maybe they had the physical ability, but they didn't have the unity between them as men to work together to build a well. So, the man of God had all of those things. And he still possesses God even if he walks away from... Now, I'm not telling you to walk away from your stuff if you get accosted. I'm just telling you that the ability to walk away because, your cup overfloweth should be an option. Then you are truly free to choose to fight or run. But if you don't know how to create anything, maybe all you can think about is theft and taking, because that's your only option, right? Well, we need to give our kids more options. They need emotional options. You have to understand what it's like to love a child before you have your first sexual moment. Okay? You need to be thinking as a true citizen of heaven, the kind of sex that you need to be about if you really care about world peace. Okay? Because if you can casually take a crap on the foundation of your child's existence, then you are secretly, it's not a secret to me, it's a secret to people that don't see the connection, you are taking a crap on the people of the world. Okay? Okay, now I didn't call you idiot. I don't want to call you idiot. I just want to think you never heard this before. And maybe you have, but I kind of doubt it. Forgive me for that. But if you have the wrong attitude about your sexual organ, you are taking a crap on your future children, and you are taking a crap then on the world, okay? That is why Reverend Moon said crazy sounding things like your spouse has the value of the cosmos, okay? Because if you can give your spouse a dirty love organ, and then by giving your spouse a dirty love organ, or an organ that has other humans attached to it, other females attached to it. If you give your spouse a no value organ and then live out your life to where your kids can see you don't value their origin, okay? You and mommy are their origin. You and daddy are their origin, right? But you don't value their origin. You are taking a crap on their psychological need to matter right at their own source. You are their source, okay? So if you do that, those kids will spill out of the doors of your house with their emotional emptiness. I'm talking about the basic microcosm of hell. You are taking a crap on the community by putting those kids out there. Your desire to have sex the way that you want in your immaturity and lack of scope about sex is really not tolerable by the time your kid is pointing a gun at another human being and trying to take their stuff or compete in a highly aggressive way over some recognition to the point where they've cheated a rival, okay? So yeah, everything that I said about the microcosm is universal, and it is applied to the macrocosm. Because when kids with psychological issues become world leaders, they also have emptiness, and they also will step on the people of the world. They maybe see the entire people of the world as their rival, okay? And they will push their rival aside aggressively in the need to become significant by doing, you know, saving the planet. By George Soros is saving the planet by getting rid of the borders. Will getting rid of borders really save the planet? Maybe, maybe not. But if he doesn't actually bring that about before he dies, he feels that he's going to be insignificant. With billions of dollars, this man doesn't want to die insignificant. Klaus Schwab, okay, he wants to depopulate. He wants to get rid of fossil fuels. Electric car batteries are freezing in cold weather, and electric cars don't work in every way that we imagined or wished or hoped. But he's going to pull the rug out from under. He and his friends, with their little social contract and their little, the meaning that they have to each other in support of one another matters more to them. They need that social contract. They need that togetherness, you know, the World Economic Forum, that they get to, you know, validate one another and go and be together and talk about important things, right? They need that so much that they're going to pull the rug out from under the entire world, okay? Even entertain lies about fossil fuels, lies about how many people we could actually sustain on the planet, just so that they could feel important. And the more they had problems with their parents, the more they didn't even value their parents as an origin, the more they want to, they're fighting. This fighting is actually you being puppeted by Satan. For you having this emotional emptiness is the common base, the hook that Satan uses to act in the world. All right, so that's all I really want to say right now about world peace and absolute sex.